Welcome back to Catch Up Sessions Weekend Project. For this weekend, I face a dilemma where to bring foreigner friends to give them a taste of Manila. With only a few hours on a Sunday to show and tell, something they'll post on Instagram and say, "Look, Ma, the Philippines." I asked a few friends around, and it was a toss up between Tagaytay, which is a bit of a drive down south, or Intramuros for that old Spanish influence vibe. To be honest, I was happy to just bring them to the mall. If I had my way, Podium would have been number one on that list. But before we dive into that, quick update on my Ride Revolution experience. It was no one hit wonder. I did a repeat on another Saturday morning. Same time, different ride coach. I like this one best so far, not only because she gave a full song's worth of downtime, she was also guiding us on some welcome introspection to kick off your weekend. Speaking of which, another friend recommended, hi Mero, that I go full on coach hopping to basically rank which ones are the most motivational. Yeah, apart from the physical benefits, moving words like, "You came here for a reason," or something like, "This is you versus yourself." Well, other lines like that worth noting down, but since I have a memory of a goldfish, I can never recall the exact words used. You see, all that resonates with me. You can call me a sucker for positive affirmation. And getting that while beating yourself up on a bike is one great combo.
Catch up sessions.
Now, back to tour guide weekend. I kept the options open until the morning that I had to pick them up. So there's my friend and two others, all the way in Alabang. I also had the Antipolo overlooking restaurant recommendation, but I had to scrap that altogether when I checked the weather forecast for the day. It was cloudy with a chance of meatballs. So, because it'll be such a waste driving further south to Tagaytay or far east just to see fog, Intramuros it was. On the way, though, it was the beginning of a nightmare because it started with this line from my friend. "It's just like in Jakarta." Gosh, beginning with the flight getting delayed for an hour, apparently. So, after a quick brunch at this nice lounge cafe called South Bank at Westgate for their salmon eggs Benedict fix, and a lot more comments on how wildly similar everything is to Indonesia, like how we have the grand malls and the great rich and poor divide that you can see clearly in the city. I then made it my personal mission, yes, to show them something that they cannot see back home. Tough is what it was, because, I mean, even people look the same. I get, asked if I was Indonesian when I was in Indonesia. A little backstory. The friend who came for a visit was my travel BFF when we were both based in Guangzhou, in China. We went from Xi'an to see the Terracotta Warriors, up north in Harbin to see the Ice Festival, heck, even Shanghai Disneyland. So, from Beijing's Great Wall of China, I decided to show him and his friends the Great Walls of Fort Santiago in Manila, with a little side trip too at the National Museum of Fine Arts. To kill time and add to my "I bet you don't have this in Indonesia" list. So thank you, Jose Rizal. We also had a quick drive around Luneta, because that part was unique. Although I would have to say my knowledge on history sure was tested when we were walking through the old Senate Hall that's inside the National Museum. I mean, it's not like they can refute anything I say. So what I did was I was picking up images from this mural right in front of me. There was pre-colonial Philippines, introducing them with the datu, which apparently is also, of course, a Malay thing. The Spanish era, all 300 plus years of it, plus the Americans, for sure is there somewhere, I said. But not before seeing two lions and what I can only make up to be something like an ethereal Mongolian warrior. To which I can only say, oh, I didn't know we had Narnia as part of our history. I mean, the power of artistic license, I think, is what that mural was. Moving on, apparently there's only so much you can see in Intramuros, like the Manila Cathedral, which was right next to San Agustin Church, where I remember my friend was telling me if you want to have your wedding there and want to have that grand entrance with the door swinging open, that's extra payment. Yeah. Well, that's also the spot where I bought my all-time favorite Filipino snack. But apparently, they have the exact same thing back in Indo, also called exactly by the same name. Taho is what it is. You can also swing by Casa Manila, which is now filled with cafes. And of course, Indonesia also has their, I guess, more than fair share of great coffee. And voila, most of these are in the top 10 list things to see in Manila, apparently. When my friend Googled an article while we were cooling off at Starbucks, because man, was it hot in the middle of the day, and it was such a relief. I was basically melting, walking on cobblestones, and then later on, guess what I saw? A hop-on, hop-off tram circling around Intramuros. So that's, noted for next time. It was a short and sweet little tour. I dropped them off right after, but not before missing a turn, silly me, which then allowed me to show them a bit of real Manila that's in the inner streets of Muntinlupa. See, lesson here, number 1, prepare your short list of top destinations for the next Call of Duty as a tour guide, but also, number 2, take time to get to know your city. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are loads more to explore that's worth showing off, that will also maybe, just maybe, make you love where you live a little more. I'll have to fill more of these weekends discovering what Manila and everywhere else nearby has to offer. You know what? I also squeezed in wall climbing on a Monday, but that's like a weekend project extension. I shall reserve that for another session. That will do it for this episode. Come back again next week for another weekend project wrap-up only on Catch-Up Sessions.